It's a brand new week, and it's time for a brand new episode of The Drop. As always, I'm your host, FighterZ, and this week, I've got a little bit more stuff to talk about than last week, so expect this episode to be a bit more substantive. Take that to your word bank, huh? Substantive. I've got some Dragon Ball FighterZ news, some brand new game news, even some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle news. Who'd have thunk? So sit back, relax, take in my voice, and again, let me know what you guys think in the comments or on my social media platforms listed below. Actually, I'm pretty much everywhere, but those are the places I list usually where I'm most active. So let's get on to it. Alright, with the news that EA has set yet another company to the chopping block, this time it's Visceral Games, 16-Bit Jeff has decided to join me to talk about just what is going on with EA and killing more companies. Visceral is just another one added to the list, and depending on the length of this episode, you're going to hear it on the drop or on its own, but you're going to hear it. It needs to be said. 16-Bit Jeff, what are the details, and why is this such a boneheaded move?
Well, it's a boneheaded move, my friend, because this has been a thing that EA has been doing for the last decade by killing off very beloved developers. Most notably, Maxis, the creators of the Sims series, both the Sims and the the original simulators that were released back in the late 90s, early 2000s for PC and Macintosh. Two of my personal favorites, both Westwood Studios, who are known for creating Command & Conquer, and another by the name of Origin Software. The same guys who made one of my personal favorite flight simulators, Wing Commander.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, like we said, this has been a notorious thing that the company's been doing for a decade going strong.
So, my question to EA, if any of you guys are actually taking the time to listen to my small channel, any of you EA employees, hit me up. EA is one of the, if not the biggest video game publisher, right? In the world?
Yep.
So why do they feel the need to close these studios down if they have enough money to not worry about going bankrupt?
Well, it's quite simple.
And there's the phone ringing, but don't worry about it.
Unlike PlayStation and Xbox, these respective generations, this generation and last generation for the companies, where they've done some stupid crap on their own respective ends, EA has got to have the worst of managements in regards to any of the big publishers, where we're talking about Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, Nintendo. We look at all of the publishers available, even the bigger ones. While EA is the biggest when you think of third party, they're the most arrogant, and their management is so horrendously run. It's not even funny. It's actually the opposite. It's appalling, because not only these studios that they close for stupid reasons, especially what we're going to get into with what happened with Visceral this week, but it's more importantly, and same thing too with Nintendo and Microsoft and even Sony, ironically enough, it's these IPs that they have. They have a long list of these beloved IPs, and they do jack with them after they close these studios down. And you cannot tell me the same thing's going to necessarily happen with Dead Space.
Around. Down, get target, yeah.
Okay, so anything else we need to cover? I was thinking about their management, and you brought that up. They're not losing money.
No, they're not.
So I don't know why they feel the need to just. It's like typical corporate, corporate thinking here.
Well,
merge and then destroy. Merge and then fire everybody.
Well, it is, because that's what Capcom does on the Japanese front.
Both of you said that.
Yep.
I mean, look at Street Fighter V. Whether you're a fan of that game or not, you gotta admit that game follows the same mindset that, let's be blunt, future games are gonna follow with these publications. There's gonna be nothing more than a cheap game that has nothing more than microtransactions, and even worse, paid behind wall DLC that's already on disc. That's the future of gaming for third party.
Yep.
Especially AAA. And when you hear that from various influencers on YouTube, whether it's like, say, Roosters, or even podcasts like Kind of Funny, Pretty Good Gaming, that's should be bad. And I hate to say this, whoever's a fan of EA, that should not be supported. If you really want this company to do better, don't buy anything from them, because that's the only thing you're going to get in the mindset that they're storing up.
Don't buy Madden. Don't buy FIFA. Hey, play last year's. You already got it. Don't give them any more money.
Exactly.
I guess that's all we can say before we go over the time limit, which we're actually still under. Anything else, or are we good?
Like I said before, it's a shame that Visceral is another addition to the chopping block that's been going on for this past decade for this company. And I don't know about you, I don't think they're going to be the only victim to sadly have this fate come the end of the year, because I have a feeling that might happen as well with BioWare.
True.
Because remember, the same pattern that happened with Visceral is currently happening with BioWare.
True that.
You make a good game, we don't care. We're gonna shut you down.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right.
But the difference is with those two, it's just like you and I expect BioWare to go under because of what they've been doing these last couple of years. That's expected. Visceral going up and under, that just makes no damn sense.
Move up. Oh, come on.
Yep.
Down.
Well, all right. On to whatever I got next. Thank you, 16-Bit Jeff.
That's true.
Thank you.
So yeah, what the heck, EA? Thanks to 16-Bit Jeff again for joining me on that small segment. Now on to my first piece of news on the rest of this regular episode of The Drop. I've got BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle news again, which, if you haven't already seen, a couple days ago, ArcSys Works uploaded on their official YouTube page more character introductions. This time, Chie Satonaka from Persona 4, Noel Vermillion from BlazBlue, and Waldstein from Under Night in Birth, EXE Late, or Uniel for short, because that's a mouthful. Again, more people that you would expect. The next one, though, I'm wondering who's going to be. The next one is going to be sometime in November, the next reveal. This one is probably going to be way more of a surprise. You might see Blake and Yang from Ruby. You might see Tager from BlazBlue. You might see any of those characters from Uniel, I don't know. You might see Yukiko or Naoto or Kanji from Persona. Good stuff so far, too. It looks great, the combos and stuff they showed. They showed different backgrounds and all that and the different soundtracks from all the different games. So it seems like each game is going to get represented fairly equally, which I like. So that ought to be good. Noelle brings her hips to this game, and this game just got a lot better. Now let's see if Lychee Fei-Ling can join. Alright, to the next thing. Alright, sticking with ArcSys Works, and oddly enough, in a roundabout way, sticking with Persona, I got some Dragon Ball FighterZ news. And that's the game has a release date, it has DLC Season Pass news, new character reveals, and some story mode news. Let's start off with the release date. It's coming out January 26th, and as always, these things can be changed, but so far they said January 26th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The Season Pass will add more characters. No fewer than 8 more characters are coming via the Season Pass. Also, for the new characters that are, revealed to be in the base game, we've got Captain Ginyu, Nappa, and apparently Android 21 will be playable. Going back to Season Pass, because it's for, I'm looking at different news sites, and I'm kind of like, some of these article writers don't know how to keep things. They like write one thing and then they jump ahead, then they go back to the previous. If I wrote these articles, which sometimes I do on Hero Club, I try to keep things, the subjects together. But anyways, the pass, for at least for over here in the U.S., it'll be $35. And if you get the Ultimate Edition of the game, it'll be $110. Not for the pass. That's the game itself, but the pass will come with that Ultimate Edition that costs $110. And also, oddly enough, the collector's edition, with a capital Z, won't come with the season pass, and it's more expensive at $140. But if you want a more practical bang for your buck, then get the Ultimate Edition, I guess. Although, I guess that Goku statue and that quote-unquote art boards, I guess like the Nintendo Switch Collector's Edition for Fire Emblem Heroes, you'll get, the art boards, which should be art book. You might as well have bound those things and made them a book. I don't know why they made them cards, but whatever. And also, for the story mode, here's the weird thing. The story mode has something akin to social links in, I forget what they're called in Persona 5, but in 3 or 4 there's social links. I forget what the Japanese name is, but the US version of 3 and 4 called them social links. Anyways, Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to have something akin to that, where you have to, you go through the story mode, and you have to level up your friendships with each character, including Vegeta and Android, or Cyborg, or whatever you want to call her, 18, and all the other characters that are on your side while people are getting knocked out, and they have a clone army of them that's evil clones terrorizing everybody. So far, I am digging that it's going to be a full-on game, and, there's always, DLC and things, but they're doing a better job than, yes, I'm going to go back to them, they're kind of the easy target for this, for Capcom. Let's not have modes that should be in the game already, and let's have you pay for pretty much everything. It's like, yes, you're paying for DLC with Arc System games too, but even without it, you're still getting a full game with a story mode and with online and all that, and, an arcade mode and everything. So having the DLC is really just more stuff instead of where Capcom games. I think that's the base thing of these fighting games compared to Capcom games. With other fighting games, you're getting more stuff with your DLC, whereas with Capcom games, you're getting stuff that should have came with the game for DLC. And yes, is this still Season 2 with Street Fighter V? Yeah, Zeku looks cool and all that, but like somebody in the comments said, shout out to Shadow Assassin Zone, Alan. Like you said in the comments, still not getting the game. I'm still not getting it either. Not right now, anyways. Alright, on to the next thing. So this is really interesting. A PS4 exclusive Full Metal Panic game was announced. And the trailer is in English, which is interesting because so far this game has absolutely no release set for the West. So far it seems like it's totally in Japan only as of right now. The trailer is spoken in English with Japanese subtitles. So it's like, I wonder if this is coming out of here. There's also a new anime for Full Metal Panic coming out called Full Metal Panic IV Invisible Victory. However, we're talking about the game right now. The Full Metal Panic game is going to be called Full Metal Panic Fight. Who Dares Wins. If you don't know, that's a quote from that's a motto. It's the motto for the British SAS, the Special Air Service. That's their motto. Who dares wins. If you remember Solid Snake mentioning that in Metal Gear Solid 2, and Stillman calling him out like, wait a minute, the Marines don't say that, or something like that. Anyways, the game itself, right? The game, it's in 3D. It's a turn-based strategy RPG game akin to Super Robot Wars. Speaking of Super Robot Wars, it is the same development team as Super Robot Wars. And Full Metal Panic has made appearances in Super Robot Wars games past. I believe, I don't remember which ones, but I know I've played them. I don't remember if it was J or not. It might have been J, because I played J. But yes, they've been in, so Super Robot Wars guys know what they're doing when it comes to mecha, obviously. And when it comes to Full Metal Panic, they're no strangers to them either, so it looks good. The game will be in 3D, however, not in 2D. If you've played the OG games and stuff, the Super Robot Wars sprites are like high dev 2D. Like, I think that might be for the OG games only. I've been, as big as a huge fan I am for the current stuff, I'm kind of, I admit I'm behind on Super Robot Wars, even though I'm, like I said, a huge mark. Looks good, though. The 3D looks good. PS4 only. So far, Japan only, but the trailer was spoken in English, so they might have already gotten the voice actors from the English anime, the old school, the old voice actors. Maybe. Who knows? But even then, hey, PS4 is region free. Just import it if you can't wait. So that's my piece of cool news. Oh, there's something else. There's 3 more things. Actually, 3 more. What am I doing? Why can't I just move on? Alright, moving on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans will get a kick out of this. Double RPG. So, the IAA, thank you, Double R, for sending me this news, by the way. The IAAPA is getting a TMNT Arcade game. Get this. It's going to be an old school 4-player beat 'em up. But it's got the new Nickelodeon Turtles on the artwork. But it's going to be an old school style beat 'em up. And let's see here. A brand new arcade. Okay, so it's totally brand new. It's in the style of the old beat 'em ups, but it's totally new. Like I said, the new Nickelodeon Turtles are on the cover art. It looks to be the art style of the game itself looks to be they're modeled after those Nickelodeon Turtles. So, the IAAPA 2017 Attractions Expo, which is going to go on November 14th through the 17th in Orlando, Florida, is going to show off this brand new arcade cabinet. And it looks like it's going to, and like I said, just by looking at it, there's no confirmation or anything, but just by looking at the screen and the layout of the arcade cabinet itself, which looks pretty cool to have all 4. Like, reminds me of the old school Konami arcade games, like the X-Men one, which was like super big because it had 4 or sometimes 6 players playable co-op. So look forward to that. Keep an eye on the IAAPA Attractions Expo, I guess. If you want to see this cabinet in action. Not much more news on it, but cool thing, huh? Arcades. Hey, they're still going strong in Japan. I don't know if they'll make a comeback here, but I mean, I still want to see them. All right, what's next? Who's next? DualShockers had an interview with Senran Kagura producer Kenichiro Takaki, and Go Nintendo actually put some bullet points in terms of specifically for the Switch game coming out, Senran Kagura Shinobi Refle, whatever. And just said that it's going to be a similar story to Tokimeki Memorial, which was a romantic visual novel type story. If I'm wrong, correct me. There's going to be the usual Senran Kagura fan service as you go more into the game. Nintendo's lightened up on the idea of fan service, and he's hoping that it comes out to the West, but he doesn't know what Nintendo of America will think. And as for the rest of the interview, if you're a PlayStation guy, he says that they're doing a Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, which is a remake of the original 3DS game in 3D, completely overhauled. Senran Kagura 7 even, or 7, but with the 7 for the letter S. And that's going to be coming out way after. Apparently they're going to do the renewal remake, Burst Renewal, Shinobi Refle, and Peach Ball Senran Kagura, which apparently is a pinball game. I thought it was going to be a volleyball game, but no, it's a... Let's see here. Okay, come on. Well, it's called a flipper game, which pinball uses flippers, so alright. He also talks about the Vita and the Xbox One, this producer. He says that he often tells Sony he would like a successor to the PS Vita. Speaking of Senran Kagura and Vita, that's the only game I played of the series, even though I don't hate the series at all, obviously, but the only one I've ever got to actually play was Shinobi Versus on the Vita. As for the Xbox One, he says, it isn't popular in Japan, so it's been left aside for the moment, but it's becoming very popular worldwide. So he would like to try to release a Senran Kagura game on Xbox One at some point. Finally! A Japanese guy gets it. Not a Japanese guy. A Japanese person in the industry gets it. That isn't to say not everybody gets it, but it's very rare I see that, just because a system isn't doing so great in their native Japan, there's too many in the industry in Japan that see only Japan as their market, even though the outside market is much bigger, especially in America, is much bigger, and they have so much more money to make by making stuff for Westerners, or and to release stuff in the West. But it's like, no, but only our region matters. Like, no, he gets it. More money can be made, even though it won't sell in Japan. It'll sell in the bigger market in the West. And I'm not even an Xbox One guy. Jeff is. But I'm somebody who loves games, and I want to see games succeed. So that's it. I just got one more thing left. This last piece of news is basically just for funsies. Suda51 of No More Heroes fame and a whole bunch of other games you probably never heard of that are pretty good. He had an interview with Game Informer, and a neat little tidbit from the interview is he says, and I quote, "I may have subconsciously picked up," this is concerning the new No More Heroes game that he's working on, Travis Strikes Again. And I quote, "I may have subconsciously picked up inspiration from the Dragon Ball series. In the Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, there's the console, the Def Drive Mark II, and the games for that console aren't cartridges or CDs. They're balls called Death Balls. Since the console and the games are sort of like a Phantom console and Phantom games, there's really not that many in existence. There were only 6 games that were made for the console, and there's only one copy for each of those games that exists. So if a player goes and collects all 6 of those game balls, they can have a wish granted, which is pretty much the same as Dragon Ball Z. I may have been subconsciously inspired by the whole Dragon Ball concept when I thought of that. Maybe if you collect all 6 balls, a huge tiger will appear or something." Then he laughs. I can dig that, instead of a dragon, a tiger, because, dragon and tiger, Japanese and Chinese lore. You've played Art of Fighting. Probably. I hope. Well, maybe not. Maybe you don't need to. But you'll understand a reference if you do. So there you go. Suda51, Dragon Ball fan. Then again, I mean, it's not like it's that hard to find somebody who isn't inspired by Dragon Ball. I mean, come on. Alright, so that's it for the drop. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully my video that I've been working on for the past it's only 4 minutes long. It's not that long at all. It might be 5 or 6 with some extra stuff added for, clarity's sake, but yeah, it's not, it isn't that hard of a video or long. It's just I've had so little time in between the other stuff I've been working on to work on it. So, yeah, don't expect anything fantastic. But, look forward to it when it comes out. Hopefully it'll be out before this week ends. Alright, guys, see ya. Leave me a comment and all that jazz. Thanks.